2v2 games, in my opinion, are the most fun you can have in Brawlhalla. But one thing to keep in mind if you want to get better at it is that it's a lot harder than 1v1. And by a lot, I mean way harder. It takes two focused and synergetic people playing well together to get it right. If one of you is not on point, then probably you're gonna lose to a more prepared team. So in today's video I want to present this guide on some steps that you can take to improve and climb the ranks. Grab your popcorn, grab some juice, grab your 2v2 partner, a blanket, and let's get on with the video. You guys like this new intro? I even sound like those fancy YouTubers, even though the blanket was kinda cringe. I divided today's video in smaller parts so it's a little easier to digest, but if you guys want to add anything, you can say that in the comments. If you want to ask anything, I'll be answering comments as well. And I made myself choose only 10 topics because 2v2 is a very complex game mode and you could actually go for many hours, and I'm already spending like a week on this video, so I don't think I want to spend any more. But yeah, if you guys want to add anything, I'll be listening to you as well. We can chat in the comments. You guys know the drill by now, whatever. It's a common belief to think that because it's a 2v2 match, your synergies will outperform any opponent. And to a certain degree that is mostly correct, except in reality 2v2 matches are composed of lots and lots of tiny 1v1 matches packed together. And if you can achieve the items on this list, any or many of them, you're setting yourself and your partner to a better performance. Number one is win most of your encounters. If you and your partner are each attacking a different opponent and you are each winning your encounters, that means you are consequentially going to win the match. I'll go a little more in depth later when I talk about awareness. Number two is make it so that your opponents can't help each other by either occupying space with your hitboxes, your movement, or by simply hitting them. As an example, my favorite way of playing is putting myself in between my opponents when my partner is fighting one of them at the wall. That way, if the opponent I am facing tries to go towards the wall to help his partner, he can't, because I can block his way. And as I am closer to the wall than he is, I can at any point just throw my weapon at him to create some time and go help my partner. And the number three is forcing and abusing 2v1 engagements, every single one of them. I'll talk more about them later, but that's the idea. Any opportunity that you have to fight with your partner against one of the enemies, you should take it. You should be doing that. That's an awesome. Do it. Do it. But to achieve any of these goals, you need to keep yourself alive, of course. You need to understand when to let go of your isolated 1v1 match to assist your partner, or be able to put your opponents in a disadvantageous position. For example, read examples. Oh, I'm not supposed to read that. Okay. For example, you knock one opponent far away. You can either set yourself for a ledge guard, or you can go to your partner and try to relieve some enemy pressure, or actually deal some damage. It's a fine balance, and it takes a lot of fast thinking and attitude, like this one. Take into account the position. Did the enemy get knocked downwards? Did they get knocked far away? Take into account their weapons. Is their weapon good at coming back to stage, like gauntlets, or maybe it's a Mako and you can use its side seek to come back. Take into account their habits, if they take their time to recover or if they just rush back to the wall. Every single one of these boxes need to be checked before you take any kind of stance. The worst thing that can happen is that you try to set up a combo with your partner and you both get either cancelled or turned around because your opponent came back way too quickly and got both of you with your guards down. And for all of that to take effect, you need to trust your partner. You need to have synergies, complement each other, and not be afraid of changing some of your habits to fit better in a 2v2 environment. Everything needs to be set on the table. Who takes the team's weapon spawn? Who goes to the wall and plays the gimping part? Who plays the support role? The support role is the player who generally plays a little more defensive so he can complement the partner's attacks. It's not a necessity, but in case any of you want to play that role, it's necessary that both of you are in agreement to that. Who is the most aggressive out of you both? This person should probably take the first weapon spawn to start racking up damage right off the gate. But to trust your partner, you guys need to understand each other better. You need to keep in mind what follow-ups they go for, how they think or play when they're in that last stock red situation. You need to have reads on your partner more times correctly than you need on your opponent. In order to do that, we need to get to the next item on our list. It's probably the hardest one to swallow off this list, because to be good in 2v2s you need to practice a lot. And there's two types of practicing that came to mind when I was making this video. You can practice your combos and setups, or you can practice awareness. The first one is the simplest of the bunch. If you have a controller lying around or a second keyboard, you can set the launch options to minus multi-keyboard and you can use your spare as a dummy. We asked BMG for 2-player training room, but they seem reluctant into letting 2 players use all of the skins in the game. I personally don't agree with that, but it's not a video about my opinion, and for them to make another training room type thing is gonna take like lots of coding and work. The point is, with this, you have a dummy. Set the lives to 99 and the time to 15 minutes, and now you and your partner can have some practicing sessions. You can try out which attacks lead to others, and figure out your setups. But here's where experience enters the chat. You need to know your true combos, but your partner needs to know them as well. They need to know their true combos, but you need to know their true combos as well. One of the most infuriating things that can happen is when you're trying to figure some combo out and you keep hitting each other or hitting the dummy at the same time because you didn't wait for them to finish their follow-ups or vice versa. So for example, you know downlight into side air is a true combo on Spear, so if you're going to use it in a combo, make sure you both know of that fact so your partner does not follow up right after the downlight. The second type of practice is the complicated member of the family. It takes a lot of time and a lot of failing to get it right. Awareness is knowing when you can follow up, when your combo is going to KO, when your partner needs help, and etc. Awareness is being able to look at the entire game at once, seeing the whole match and not only your engagement. And even though it's one of the most complicated skills, it's probably the most rewarding. And to practice it is not as straightforward as just combos. You need to go on matches and keep that in mind. Try creating some sort of rhythm, like every time you hit your opponent away, look at your partner. Every time you look at your lives or health, look at your partner. Every time you get hit, look at your partner. You know what? Never mind. Make sure you remember to dodge out first. I don't want to be responsible for you getting 0 to death. But with time and a lot of experience, you will get there. Never stop trying to improve on it. It's one of those skills that can never get to a ceiling. You can always get better awareness. Keep calm. If you're having a rough day, can't focus, or you keep dying all the time, you need to keep calm. When you get to the lobby, be honest with your partner. Say, hey, I'm not playing that hot. And then you can take a break, eat something, go to the bathroom, grab some juice. You guys like juice, right? Yeah, you probably do. Anyways, while you have something to eat, watch your most recent matches. Try to figure out what are you doing wrong. Try to see if you can figure where to improve. Ask your partner what they want to see from you more often. But most important of all is don't lose yourself in the middle of the match. If you start fainting inside of a match, not only are you throwing away every single chance of winning you guys had, but you're ruining your partner's fun. That can either lead to them lashing out on you and then you both become mad and nobody's having fun anymore, or maybe they'll try to be cool and try to bring the blame onto themselves for not being able to clutch those last 2 stocks left. And now you're affecting your partner's mindset, breaking any kind of progress in the next matches as well. If you hit each other, have a laugh at it. If you commit the Sudoku, have them taunt you. Have fun. This game is competitive, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't win or lose your matches without having a blast. Remember that getting angry only makes you play worse, and in twos that affects both of you and your partner. Your starting goals doesn't need to have anything to do with winning. You can both enter a match with the sole purpose of completing each other's attacks, trying to save each other from a game, trying to forget some bad habit, or trying not to hit each other even once the whole match. Emphasis on the word trying here. This is the magic word we want to hug. You need to try in order to succeed, but if you fail, just try again. Keep in mind the goals you want. You don't need to win the match if your goal is not to hit each other. Focus on that. When all of these things get to the second nature for both of you, you will eventually start winning as a result. When you're playing twos, it's a bad idea to attack the enemy at the same time. That can either mean both of you are in recovery frames after the enemy gets out of stun, or you can hit each other. This ties back into awareness, but you know your partner's follow-ups, so that way you can cover the opponent's dodge after a string, or do something cheeky like attacking with something quick or a weapon toss to guarantee the follow-up will be true. Just be careful not to cancel your partner, that can lead to disasters. In a standard 1v1 match, you can divide the match into 3 standard pieces, and they are not, and I repeat, not set into stone. It's just easier to visualize it this way. You have the neutral game, in which neither player has any type of advantage. You have the offensive, which is right after you hit an opponent out of the neutral game. After that, you can either go back to neutral or keep the offensive. It's your choice. And in the same occasion, your opponent has gone into defensive after they got hit once. They can either dodge out if they think you're going to keep the offensive, turn the tables trying to do a wake-up attack. They can try to run, jump, dash, toss, whatever they can do to bring back the game to neutral. And I can make a whole video about this one topic. But the thing is, in a 2v2 match, multiple engagements of this type are happening at the same time. So you need to have in mind what is the best move to make in that moment. As I said in the beginning, even a 2v2 match is filled to the brim with 1v1 encounters. So you need to wait if you want to keep aggressing on your opponent, reset neutral with them and go force a 2v1 engagement with your partner, or if you're on the defensive edge, you need to know if you are going to keep engaged after getting hit, if you want your partner to help you, or if you're going to try to force a 2v1 engagement out of you getting hit. And I understand this part is a lot to take in, so in the near future I'll probably make the video I talked about this whole engagement thing and the flow of the game, and it will make it a lot easier for you to understand. But for now, you just need to know that it's important to understand when it's safe to engage and keep engaging, and when it's safe to go help your partner. And it's important to mention all of this because the highlight of a 2v2 match is crazy enough, a 2v1. If you get to hit both of your opponents at the same time, even better. But this is when you can finally put all of those hard practice combos in action. You want to try to force as many of these as possible. Since in a 1v2 your opponent can't get away if you and your partner are pressing the right buttons at the right time, it's a battle against the clock. Even if you don't get the KO out of the combo, it's still a lot of damage, and it's all done without too much hassle. One benefit of having friendly fire turned on is that you can save your partner when they don't have any more recovery options, and it's always good to keep any stock alive to the max of its ability. But it's also important to note that going out of the stage to assist your partner means giving their entire stage control to the enemy, in addition to putting both the members of your team in a ledge guard situation. It's very risky and you can easily lose 2 stocks trying to save one damaged one. My general rule of thumb is to save the last stock mainly. The other situations you will need to weigh your risks and your rewards. However, there is another way of helping them. If your partner is off stage, you don't need to necessarily go and bring them back. You can create space by putting yourself between the ledge guarding opponent and them. Hitting said opponent, tossing your weapons to create some sort of defense. Just be mindful and careful. You really don't want to lose a game because you risked too much on a single stock. Some weapons have better synergies than others, and in some specific cases a character-specific weapon can have some unexpected synergies. And understanding what your weapons do the best makes it easier to decide what you're gonna do. Some examples being, Bring is a great 2v2 character. Axe is great at covering space and making your opponents uncomfortable, many times making them play off stage, where both of you have an advantage. Spear Downlight has a great coverage and sets up into side air, great tools of spear of passing your opponent to your partner. Her signature attacks are also very nice at setting up to the opponent. Since they can lock the opponent a little bit before tossing them away, your partner has a lot of time to react accordingly, even if your signature hit at the later frame. However, when choosing your character, you need to keep in mind there's a key function in the game called DI. It stands for directional input, and it happens when you hit someone with the same move more than once. After an opponent gets hit by the same move more than once, they have the option to hold any direction and they will get flunked that way instead of the place they normally would. DI was implemented in the game to make it a little more creative when making your combos, since in the past you could just literally stand in the middle of the room and spam neutral lights and the opponent couldn't do anything to get out of that. So when you're designing your new combos, keep this in mind, as if you repeat any move, it's probably the opponent will be able to get out from it. No matter how much you practice, you will fail a lot. You hit each other, gimp each other, and probably call each other mother's names. But keep at it, don't give up. It will take time and effort, and when you get into the zone and any attack you give, you know your partner will be there to continue, and you'll both be grateful that you didn't give up. But keep in mind that it's okay to fail. Failing is part of learning, and understanding why you failed is a great step into doing the right thing next time. No matter if you have played for 10 hours or you have 2,000 hours in the game or even 6,000 hours, you are bound to make mistakes here and there. Just don't get discouraged. So concluding everything, you will need to practice a lot. You need to understand your partner's weaknesses and strengths, your own weaknesses and strengths, and you will need to both coalesce into a singular entity at some point, where you can understand each other even without opening your mouth to say anything. It can be a little frightening and a little challenging to learn to play 2v2 well, but the reward you get when you finally get there, if that is something you want to pursue, then you can't describe how awesome you will feel and your partner will feel when you are finally in that zone. However, 2v2 is such a complex genre that it's kinda hard to just make everything into a nice, concise little package. So I will give all that I have to answer any questions you guys might have. And if necessary, I'll make another one of these guides with different topics that I would like to touch and that would make you understand a little more about each and every single type of collision you will have during a 2v2 match. That is a story for another day though. I will just thank you very much for watching, and I've been spending the last few weeks on this video and I would really appreciate it. I normally don't ask, but I really appreciate if you guys subscribe, if you share this video, if you like this video, because it's been kind of a struggle. I haven't been doing anything other than editing this video and making sure that it's the best that I can give at this moment. Then again, thank you very much for watching. Just the fact that you guys are here to listen to me ramble, at least in a more concise and scripted manner this time. See you guys next time.